Hello everyone, and welcome to today's training course. Today we will discuss data center hardware O&M management solutions. We will explore the challenges and industry trends of data center hardware O&M management, as well as Huawei solutions for data center hardware O&M and new features for V5 server O&M management. Today's presentation will be divided into three parts. First, we will learn about the industry trends of data center hardware O&M and Huawei solutions. Then we will focus on new O&M management features in a single server system and centralized management system. In the final part, we will look at the management networking scenarios supported by Huawei servers. I'm sure that during customer development, you have been in situations where customers demand different O&M management solutions to meet the requirements for data center O&M management. A possible reason is that customers in different phases of hardware O&M require different O&M software. Data center hardware O&M has undergone a transformation from manual O&M to tool-based O&M, automatic O&M, and intelligent O&M. Currently, most enterprises are building their own automatic hardware O&M system and actively evolving towards intelligent O&M to improve O&M efficiency and reduce the overall O&M cost. The new management features of Huawei servers mainly focus on automatic and intelligent O&M to support the evolution of customers' O&M systems. To help customers establish an automatic and intelligent O&M system, Huawei servers integrate automatic and intelligent O&M into various phases of the server lifecycle: delivery, O&M, and end of service. The delivery phase focuses on quick provisioning, and the routine O&M phase focuses on server running and reliability. V5 servers introduce features such as automatic device access to the NMS, out-of-band OS deployment, and automatic upgrade. We will elaborate on new features later on. First, let's have a look at the management software system provided by Huawei. Generally, the management software is divided into three layers. The first layer is the single server layer that includes management systems or tools coming with the server. This layer provides external integration interfaces. The management tools include the Intelligent Management System (IBMC), Blade Chassis Management System Hyper Management Module, and Intelligent Management Agent (IBMA). IBMA serves as a supplement to IBMC management and implements in-band diagnosis that IBMC cannot provide. This layer provides the most basic management and is the basis for automatic intelligent management. UMate is an independent tool for batch management, and Service CD is for single-node deployment. The second layer includes centralized management software such as eSite Server and third-party plugins. eSite Server is responsible for centralized monitoring and management of Huawei servers and data centers, and third-party plugins are used by customers who are already using some commercial management software and do not intend to replace their management systems. Newly purchased servers, as well as existing servers from HP, Dell, and IBM, all need to be managed by the software. Therefore, Huawei servers need to be able to be integrated. The third layer is Huawei's data center management solution, ManageOne. It is used for data center infrastructure management and implements centralized monitoring and management of servers, storage devices, networks, and WLANs. Next, we will elaborate on the key features of IBMC and IBMA for single server management and eSite Server for server cluster management. First, let's look at refined single-server hardware monitoring provided by IBMC and IBMA. They comprehensively monitor the running status of server hardware to ensure normal device running. In terms of single-server management, Huawei aims to provide across-the-board hardware monitoring, easy provisioning, configuration operations, accurate fault diagnosis, and routine O&M security. Across-the-board hardware monitoring has been introduced several times in training sessions over the years. This time we will focus on enhanced hardware diagnosis, remote configuration, security, and automatic interfacing capabilities of V5 servers. Data center hardware fault diagnosis has been a headache for hardware O&M personnel. Huawei V5 servers introduced the FDM 3.5 hardware fault diagnosis system to allow hardware fault locations, fault details, and suggestions to be displayed on the IBMC web UI. Customers can handle over 90% of hardware faults according to IBMC alarms and handling suggestions. Rival products, however, only print error codes on the interface, and customers need to locate the fault causes and solutions according to the error codes, which is not as convenient as Huawei's solution. FDM is one of Huawei's competitive features, and Huawei owns the proprietary rights to it. Diagnosis works as follows. After a fault occurs, comprehensive fault logs are collected for the expert diagnosis library to analyze fault causes. Then, information about faulty components and handling suggestions is provided. According to maintenance statistics, the fault locating accuracy can be up to 93%. In enterprises where hardware O&M and service O&M are separated, full out-of-band configuration management is an important requirement of hardware O&M personnel. Huawei V5 servers implement out-of-band RAID configuration, which makes full out-of-band management possible. RAID can be configured before the OS is installed, while traditional solutions require on-site operations or support RAID configuration after only a simple OS is mounted. After a RAID server is powered on, RAID can be configured on the IBMC web UI, which greatly improves RAID configuration efficiency. On the IBMC Web UI, users can view basic information about the RAID controller card, physical disks, and logical disks, including hard disk capacity and RAID arrays. On the IBMC Web UI, users can also create and delete RAID logical disks on the OS. IBMC also provides remote RAID configuration management interfaces for automatic integration. The 3108-M, 3408, and 3508 RAID controller cards all support this function. Another important feature of out-of-band configuration management is to install the OS for the service system through the IBMC. The initial deployment of the OS does not depend on any operations on the x86 system. The Huawei V5 server IBMC introduces the Smart Provisioning, or SP, intelligent deployment function to enable out-of-band installation and deployment and initial configuration of the service system. In the IBMC flash memory, the service CD function is enhanced. IBMC supports online PCIe card firmware upgrading, log collection, and driver installation. These new features are supported only on V5 servers. Incompatibility between OS drivers and hardware firmware after OS installation is also a pain point during hardware O&M. Traditionally, users need to mount the service CD, CD-ROM, and install compatible drivers. Operations can be quite complex. The Huawei V5 server IBMC enhances service CD features. During the BIOS startup, users can press F6 to go to the SP installation interface and the OS installation wizard interface and quickly install the OS and compatible drivers. This simplifies single-server OS installation and improves efficiency. Using the IBMC to access the x86 OS is a common operation for data center hardware O&M. Most traditional KVM functions are implemented based on Java, and Java-based KVM clients depend heavily on the local running environment, which requires a compatible JRE version. If multiple Java clients require different JRE versions, customers need to install and switch between different JRE versions. Currently, the HTML5 KVM implemented on Huawei V5 servers completely resolves this problem. On a browser that supports HTML5, which is most browsers, users can open the KVM without installing the JRE. This greatly improves user experience. In addition, Huawei V5 servers support VNC KVMs. A standard VNC client can be used to connect to the KVM, which does not depend on the running environment. As global data O&M security events occur more and more frequently, server O&M security is becoming increasingly important on the customer side. Huawei servers implement comprehensive server security management. Compared with peer vendor security features, Huawei servers have advantages in access rights management, identity management, and session management. Since the release of the IPMI specification in 2002, server management specifications have seen 4 improvements. The initial IPMI is a CLI-based specification for server monitoring and management. The IPMI specification features strong professionalism and does not specify unified formats. Vendors extend many OEM commands during implementation, which vary from vendor to vendor and are not easy to parse and integrate. The latest Redfish specification is based on the HTTP protocol and uses a universal format to standardize the reporting of server management and monitoring information, facilitating integration and parsing the upper layer NMS. Huawei servers closely follow the industry standards, and the latest V5 servers provide abundant interfaces based on Redfish specifications to facilitate integration with the NMS. Huawei V5 servers provide various Redfish interfaces, including interfaces for querying, hardware information such as CPU, memory, hard disk, and RAID information, and interfaces for IBMC, BIOS, and RAID configuration. The IBMC and BIOS configuration import and export interface allows users to import the IBMC and BIOS configuration files of a configured server and import them to other servers, greatly improving the configuration efficiency. In addition, V5 servers allow users to modify configurations of a single BIOS item, which cannot be performed on V3 servers. V3 servers support only the import and export of the entire configuration. Huawei provides various Redfish interfaces, but Redfish is a new specification, and many NMSs may be incompatible if it needs to invoke commands in CLI mode. To meet customer requirements, Huawei encapsulates Redfish interfaces in CLI mode. A command tool provided by Huawei servers for integration, UREST, can be used on the server OS. This mode does not require the IBMC IP address, username, and password. Maintenance personnel can also use the tool on a PC or remote O&M server. This mode does require the IBMC IP address, username, and password. The UREST CLI can be used for querying the running status and information about server CPUs, memory, hard disks, and PCIe cards, and for IBMC, BIOS, and RAID configuration and management. eSite Server is a piece of software developed by Huawei for centralized data center management. In 2017, new features were introduced to improve data center O&M automation and efficiency. These features include automatic server device access, quick OS deployment, and visualized switch configuration. According to feedback from eSite customers, eSite Server increases the O&M efficiency of the entire data center by more than 30%. eSite Server provides a visualized network topology view to clearly monitor the running status of devices running on the live network and to check for alarms. If a fault occurs on a device, the device is marked in red in the topology view, allowing users to quickly locate the faulty device. The topology view greatly facilitates the monitoring of the entire data center. eSite Server provides a customized portlet for monitoring key data devices running in the data center in a visualized manner. Portlet customization items include the device health status, server CPU and memory network performance, and number of data centers that are powered on. The single device view allows users to view the running status of the CPUs, DIMMs, and PSUs. Key running information of all devices can be displayed in charts on the portlet. After a server is delivered to the equipment room and powered on, traditionally users need to configure the server, record the configuration, and then add the server to the NMS. These operations are complex and may cause configuration errors and NMS access failure. Huawei servers introduce automatic connection to the NMS as long as eSite Server is installed and an IP address pool is configured. After a server is delivered to the customer equipment room and powered on and network cables are connected, eSite Server automatically assigns an IP address to the server and connects it to eSite Server for management. This eliminates the complex configuration operations before connection to the NMS and simplifies the connection. This function improves the efficiency of server access to the NMS by more than 100%. As mentioned above, in enterprises where hardware O&M and service O&M are separated, hardware O&M personnel are not willing to negotiate an O&M time window with service O&M personnel. Therefore, full out-of-band management becomes very important. eSite Server works with Huawei V5 servers to implement full out-of-band OS deployment. Users only need to connect to the IBMC network port and a server that has eSite Server installed, and do not need to connect an x86 service network cable to the eSite Server or configure the DHCP and PXE servers. eSite Server supports OS installation on x86 servers including Linux, Windows, and VMware OSs. It supports OS installation on 20 servers at the same time, greatly simplifying the networking for OS deployment. Management networking and service networking can be completely isolated, and the overall deployment efficiency improves by more than 50%. When a firmware bug occurs, the firmware needs to be upgraded. O&M personnel need to consider where to find compatible firmware and whether the firmware of other components needs to be upgraded as well during the process. Huawei eSite Server provides the automatic download and upgrade function to solve this problem. eSite Server can automatically download and upgrade server firmware in batches. This frees customers from concerns where the firmware is compatible and implements upgrade of the firmware of all components in one-click mode. eSite Server can automatically download the latest firmware from the official Huawei website in direct or proxy mode and advises customers to upgrade the firmware. Customers only need to apply for an operation window and customize an upgrade task to complete the automatic firmware upgrade. Currently, eSite Server can automatically download and upgrade the following items of V3 and V5 servers: IBMC, BIOS, CPLD, PCIe card firmware, drivers, and E9000 switch software. Traditionally, network devices are configured in CLI mode. This is an easy task for network management personnel, but a source of pain for server O&M personnel, who cannot quickly understand switch commands of different vendors. Huawei eSite Server provides a switch configuration GUI, which enables server O&M personnel to quickly and correctly configure and manage E9000 chassis switch modules without knowing switch commands. Now let's learn about the interfacing capabilities of Huawei management software with third-party NMSs. After a year of efforts, Huawei quickly improved its server interconnection capability with third-party management systems. Currently, nearly 20 plugins are provided to implement interconnection with industry management software including MSSC, vCenter, Nagios, and vRealize. After the plugins are installed in a third-party management system, it will identify Huawei servers and perform management operations to form a complete hardware device management integration solution. Currently, Huawei provides plugins for interconnecting with NMSs such as SCOM, SCCM, vRealize, vCenter, and HPOM through eSite Server. It also provides plugins for interconnecting with open-source software such as Nagios, Zabbix, Xenos, Cacti, and OpenNMS through the IBMC. Over the next two slides, we'll focus on two plugins, MSCM and Ansible. Huawei servers introduce the SCOM and SCCM plugins that support the Microsoft Management Software System Center and invoke Redfish interfaces provided by Huawei eSite Server to implement corresponding functions. SCOM supports monitoring server running status and obtaining server component information. SCCM supports OS deployment, driver and firmware upgrades, and IBMC and BIOS configuration. Ansible is a preferred configuration management tool in the industry and is widely used by companies such as France Telecom and Standard Chartered Bank for server configuration management. Its basic principle is to store server configurations on the configuration management server in advance. After the IP address is configured for the new server, Ansible delivers the configuration to the server so that the server can run according to the preset configuration. Huawei servers provide plugins based on the open source software Ansible. By invoking the IBMC Redfish interface, users can implement OS deployment, IBMC and BIOS upgrades, and IBMC and BIOS configuration, import and export. New servers in customer data center equipment rooms should be in accordance with existing networking solutions without having to change O&M habits. In the last part of today's presentation, we'll talk about the adaptability of Huawei servers to customer O&M networking solutions. The IBMC provides a dedicated network port for management networking. The dedicated IBMC network port provides hardware O&M functions and is completely isolated from the service network. Currently, major internet companies and large enterprises use this networking model. The hardware O&M personnel and service personnel of these companies are distributed in different departments. O&M and service departments operate independently. Advantages include that the management network and service network are isolated from each other. Hardware O&M is independent from service O&M and does not occupy management and service bandwidths. And if the service network or x86 plane is abnormal, the management plane can be maintained properly. One disadvantage is that out-of-band management requires network devices with independent networking, which may incur device costs. Huawei implements management data transmission through the service network. In this networking mode, management data and service data are transmitted through the same network cable. Management and service data can be isolated through VLANs. Advantages of this are that the Intel NCSI technology allows management data and service data to be transmitted using the same network cable, saving a switch port. If the service network or x86 plane is abnormal, the management plane can be maintained properly. One disadvantage is that 100 megabits per second of service bandwidth is occupied. This networking mode is commonly used in enterprises where O&M and service personnel are not separated. Traditional enterprises use this networking mode to perform hardware and service O&M. The advantage of this is that the service system and management systems use the same IP address, saving network cables and IP resources. The disadvantage of this is that service data and management data are on the same network. If the service network is interrupted, no independent network is available for maintaining management data. That's all for today's presentation. Thank you so much for your time, and have a great day.